What we have here is a TAITO Type-Zero system. It is a pretty primitive polygon system from the beginning of the year 2000. Two boards, one CPU board and one video board, and a big filter board. I've taken the boards out of the case so that I can easily access them. Also, they are better cooled this way. The original box looks something like this, where the hard drive goes on top of here. The filter board fastens around here, but we aren't going to use this one now. The power supply is a regular ATX for a PC, a very old power supply which I've modified a little bit. Power is +5, +12 and +3.3, so it's a bit like Naomi system from Sega. And the power goes mainly in here, and then there is a little connector here which is for the drive, the disk drive. And I've connected the video cable and the audio cable, stereo. The video signal is a 24 kHz, so it's a medium resolution monitor you need. And let's show you. This is where the drive hookups to this. And the disk drive is usually IDE, normal PC drive, but I have another drive here, SSD. This one is a bit different. This one can be cloned and use many games. Not at once, but you can change games. This you cannot do on the IDE drive because there is a protection, and I won't go into further detail, but you will need a IDE SATA adapter. I use this one, it's a cheap one from eBay. This side looks just like a regular IDE disc, and this side is SATA. Goes into the disc like this, and you have an IDE disc. So, next I will be showing you Battle Gear 2. Hello again. So, let's have a look at Battle Gear 2, shall we? This is how the system boots. It's pretty quick now because we don't use a real IDE drive, we use the SSD one, the flash drive. But this one still is a bit slow. It's counting downwards for some reason. Let's see if I can make the picture more stable. I think it's one of the potentiometers. It's having a little bit of a bad connection. There. Now it's searching for other nodes on the network. It's trying to find the slave machine to compete with multiplayer, you know. But because we don't have one, it's going to count down for a minute. But I've used a little wire here. It's a start button wire, so I'm going to ground that one like that. Boom. To bypass that moment. Let's hear the sound. I can actually influence the analog signals because they are so sensitive. If I just use my fingers, dampen my fingers a little bit, touching the pins, I can in fact test if the analog controls are working. Well, we're not going to get any further here because I don't have any controls, as you can see. But we can assume safely that the game works. Let's try another game. Again, we see it does its countdown. Now I've cloned the image of the game landing high onto that SSD flash drive. So this is a completely different game. And I don't know what to expect the first time. Push test switch to initialize and date adjustment please. Select with flap button. Well, save modified dot. Okay, I'm using the schematic for power shovel, so there are a few more buttons there, and I'm going to try a few of them. Alright then, all sounds adjusted, and let's have another go at landing high. Do you see what it does? It's a flash ROM update. Caution, don't touch system. It's actually downgrading the system BIOS from a newer version to the older. Complete. Please reset system. We are lucky. We have a reset button. It's quite an interesting game actually. You use it's a two-player cabinet. Each player has two analog joysticks and a pair of pedals, and it's actually all about digging with the excavator. And this is the English version, and this is the Japanese version. Something interesting about this game, running on a Battle Gear 2 board, is that the game can't be played on a Battle Gear 2 board because there are missing filters on the main board for the controls. So because each player uses two analog joysticks and two pedals, the analog joysticks together use 8 analog channels. That's left XY, right XY times 2, so that's 8 channels. 5 of these are missing, only 3 are there on the Battle Gear 2 board. That's the steering wheel, the gas and the brake. So if you want to be able to play this game on the Battle Gear 2 configuration, you need to add these filters.
横風着陸。風に流されないように風上のラダーペダルを踏み込み、機体を水平に保ちましょう。
And while we are on the old BIOS, why not try the first Battle Gear game? It's almost as nice as Battle Gear 2. Now let's play some ping pong. This should be interesting as the ping pong game runs with a newer BIOS. It should upgrade it automatically. You will see. There it goes. Flash ROM update. Caution, don't touch system. They use a different font when upgrading to the newer BIOS, and they will be resetting automatically. I didn't have to touch the reset button. This is an odd game, really. It's like a ping pong simulator. The cabinet looks a bit like well, it's 2 ping pong rackets and some sensor. So each player has 3 analog axes and 2 buttons, 1 start button and 1 other button. But this game can probably not be played with an analog joystick as it is, but it needs its cabinet, its original controls, unfortunately. Oh yeah, the usual press test switch to initialize.
There are rumors going around. The game is looking for a challenger. This is our chance. Okay, let's rise up. We'll beat up
Yeah,
who gets no way.
it's one of these hip-hop games. I don't know if you can hear the music. It's like let's turn it down. I can focus better on the game without that artistic expression. So it's a bit like fantasy futuristic style, very clean and colorful, sort of like the Jet Set radio on the Dreamcast. Anyway, this is Rising Ping Pong on the TAITO Type-X. What I'm loading here now is something really special. It's kind of like a Battle Gear 2, but I think it's a prototype game because it's called Top Speed 20XX. And you will see it's just like Battle Gear 2, so it's probably a Western version of the Battle Gear. And it's just exactly the same demo play with this blue Subaru or whatever it is. No, it's a Nissan Skyline, I think. Exactly. Battle Gear 2, it even says record BG2, so it's pretty much Battle Gear 2, but in English, hopefully. Nice and plain English. That's what we like. Well then, to summarize the system, the games, we've learned a couple of things. First of all, 2 games run on an earlier BIOS, so they downgrade the firmware in the machine. And 3 or 4 or so games run on the newer BIOS, so they upgrade. Games which use several analog channels like Landing High, Power Shovel, Power Excavator, and even the ping pong game, they need the extra filters which the Battle Gear 2 or Battle Gear configuration does not have. The Battle Gear 2 configuration does have something else, which the other ones don't, and that's a special chip for the lamps. It's an amplifier. It sits close to the It's a 4-channel high current Darlington sync driver. Basically it's an amplifier. So because Battle Gear 1 and 2 they use the real 12-volt lamp for the rev lamp, which is very cool indeed. So basically that's it. Thank you very much.